So we'll go to 16K, which is the discussion on the RFQ issued by the City of Providence seeking an entity to assume management responsibilities for the Providence Water Supply Board, properties and operations.
Mr. President, this was put on just to kind of, I guess, telegraph to folks that we're well aware of the proposal that's being put in place. It's my understanding anyways, and I think I speak for Ted as well, that this doesn't involve a transfer of the land, so as proposed, it does not affect our ability to tax the City of Providence. The devil's in the details when it comes to you need enabling legislation to make this work. And certainly the devil's in the details with the legislation. They could very well come back with the same type of stuff they did last time, unrelated to what they've done here. But we're very much aware of it. We're going to try to stay on top of this as much as we can. That's one reason we, for example, put together a liaison with the Providence Water Supply Board. We've got to maintain a close relationship with these folks and maintain an ongoing relationship. It can't just be every 10 years when we have a tax treaty. And so just to, again, and Ted, I don't know if you have any comments on this, but it's our understanding that as proposed, this does not impact us. But certainly, we have to watch it very closely because it could easily come back to bite us.
Looking at it, it's basically an operating lease, similar to what Woonsocket does, where the property continues to be owned by the City of Woonsocket, and they hired a private water firm to manage the facility. As written, as Tim has suggested, I don't see any impact to the town of Scituate. However, we need to keep track of what's going on in the legislature and how this thing might morph. So as currently requested, they're just looking for industry leaders who could do the management of the delivery of water.
So there's no action on that?
No action. Okay. Go ahead.
My name is Alicia Kelly. I live on Danielson Pike. I agree, while there may be some taxation issue, there maybe won't be any taxation issues because there's no transfer of land. In Woonsocket, you're correct, the town or the city owns the land. They actually own land in North Smithfield as well. And they do have an actual water department that does administer some of that. The reason why I know that is I lived in Woonsocket and I researched their water policies immensely. And then also, while it may not have a tax aspect to our town, it may change our town in that we have an out-of-state, out-of-region company basically coming in and administering everything now. The three companies that actually have responded to that proposal so far, I believe the town of Lincoln works with one of them. Suez is mostly down in South County. As we know, there were a lot of issues with their water supply down there. So while yes, the tax issue that we're concerned about may not be an issue, I am concerned with at least two of the three companies that have applied for this. So I urge the council, while there may be some confidence that there won't be a taxation issue, there very well could be an issue in that we now have someone who is out of state, out of town, not literally drinking the water, now administering the day-to-day activities, and while they're not Scituate, they're not the City of Providence, what is their best interest? Is it in the best interests of the town and the 60% of Rhode Islanders who drink this water that we host, or is it their best interest to push out the best they can and profit the most out of this lease? I urge you to talk to, like I said, Suez is mostly, I believe, South Kingstown, one of their water. They have a couple of different water companies that administer their benefit, but they also, Lincoln is involved as well. Reach out to the other water districts and see really who is administering this, what their experiences are with these three companies, and make sure you get in front of this, and maybe if this is the way Providence is going, have a conversation of, well, how is this company going to treat the residents of Scituate? Thanks.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thanks, Alicia. And Alicia, I certainly hope to work with you on this going forward. I'll be in touch.
Thank you. Wayne Sauce with Central Pike. I applaud Tim for suggesting that we should work a little more closely with the Providence Water Supply Board. I would also suggest that rather than just working to attend their meetings, that we maybe take a little more proactive position in that we look at what other revenue streams out of the reservoir or out of the City of Providence should include. I also have a sneaking suspicion, and this is only me thinking this way, or maybe it isn't, but anyway, I honestly think that this proposal to lease the property is a little bit of a subterfuge to get us thinking that there might not be any changes in the tax structure. I know last year they put in a bill, former council president Mahoney and myself and a whole slew of other people from Scituate went down there, but that bill was to transfer the entire ownership of the Providence Water Supply Board company to another entity. And I will tell you, I have a sneaking suspicion that that legislation is going to come back. And it may not be that we're leasing it, but actually selling it to someone else. And that's more dangerous to us than a lease. So, for my 2 cents.
Thank you.
Again, Ray Greglovich, 16 Woodland Pike Road. And to dovetail on that comment, I think maybe we could suggest that you revisit your committee liaisons and maybe add an adjunct to Mr. McCormick's responsibilities and make him the legislative liaison as well, so that he's in touch and aware of what's going on, so that something like this doesn't happen where a legislative piece of business occurs at the Statehouse, and work with our representatives to make sure that we don't get the short end of the stick. And that's with respect to the reservoir, but with anything, that we have an idea of what's going on at the Statehouse so that we can take advantage and benefit from it.
Thank you.
Stasi Wortman is the other just to back up on something Alicia said. One company is based in New England. The other 2 companies up for bid are out of France, out of the country.
Okay. Any other comment on that? No discussion?